As per modern psychology, the moment you can name an emotion and separate yourself from it, its grip on you weakens instantly. However, Vedanta has made it clear over 1,000 years ago, and Drigdrishya Viveka hands you 6 precise, practical ways to actually do it. Now, before we get into individual exercises, I want to show you something. All 6 practices you're about to learn are actually just one tool aimed at 6 different situations. That tool is called Nididhyasana. It is the third and final step of spiritual practice in Advaita Vedanta. Here's the simplest way to understand it. Take a metal rod and heat it in a fire long enough, and eventually the rod itself starts to glow like fire because it's soaked in the fire's nature until it took on its nature completely. Nididhyasana is exactly this applied to a thought. You take one single thought and you stay soaked in it, undistracted, until it stops being just an idea you understand and becomes something that you actually are. Now, here's a formula that will make every exercise in this video make instant sense. Thought is equal to consciousness plus object. Every single thought you've ever had is built in the same way. See, there's the consciousness that's aware of the thought, and there's a thought which can be about an object such as an event, a person, an emotion, or a memory, you name it. So, consciousness plus object is equal to thought, right? All 6 practices we are about to walk through are really just this. You have to choose an object on purpose. Then stay with it, undistracted, until either the object reveals its true nature or dissolves completely. That's it. That's the entire toolkit hiding behind 6 Sanskrit names. But before I hand you the exercises, I need to be honest about one thing that decides whether any of this actually works. It is called Satkar, sincere inner motivation. And why do you need the motivation? See, you can follow any of these exercises exactly as I say and still feel no change in your power to emotional mastery. Unless you have a solid motivation or thrill to do it, all these techniques will appear just as a performance. See, it's like doing a yoga pose because it looks good for a photo versus doing the same pose because you genuinely want the stillness it offers. What does the Satkar mean here? Here, Satkar means you are doing these exercises because some part of you is genuinely tired of losing to your own reactions and actually wants a way out. If that wanting is real, even a little, these exercises will work faster than you expect. If it's missing, then no amount of correct repetition will get you there. So, before every practice we cover today, bring that honest wanting into the room first. That is crucial. Now that we have made the rules clear, everything is in place, let's get into the exercises, starting with your inner world. Let's start inside your own mind because this is where most of the daily battles actually happen. So, stage 1 is called Drishya Anuvida, label and witness. Drishya means all objects of perception, correct? Anuvida means to blend with something completely. The exercise is simple. The next time an emotion hits, irritation, anxiety, a flash of jealousy, it's normal. Whatever it is, pause and silently say one sentence to yourself. I am not this thought. I am the one noticing this thought. That's the whole exercise. See, you're not trying to make the feeling go away. You're just creating a sliver of space between you and it, even if it's only 3 seconds wide. Right now, when an emotional trigger hits you, there is zero distance between you and the reaction, isn't it? That is the whole problem. This one sentence says, I am not this thought. I am the one noticing it. It forces a witness to show up in the room. And once a witness is present, even briefly, the thought stops being the whole of who you are for that moment. So try it this week with something small first, such as during traffic jam or when you're losing patience with a slow reply to a text. You decide, but you are going to try it. Now, stage 2 is Shabda Anuvidha, the repeated anchor. See, Shabda means a word, specifically a word of wisdom. And Anuvidha means, as you know, to blend with something completely. Remember the exercise from stage 1? The moment a trigger hits, you pause and say, I am not this thought. I am the one noticing it. Correct? That created a sliver of space, maybe 3 second swipe. That space may close faster than you could imagine, and your mind will slip right back into the story. Here, procrastination is not the way out, my friend. We have to act fast. And that means you are fused with the trigger all over again. That means your witnessing act created the gap, but it wasn't able to hold the gap open. And that's exactly what the next stage, this stage, Shabda Anuvidha, is for. The exercise is simple. Right after you've noticed the thought and created the gap, you now fill that space with a sentence, one sentence, an anchor. Something like, I am the witness, not the wound. Or simpler, this will not matter in 6 months, or maybe 6 days, or maybe 6 weeks, but this will not matter. Choose one in advance before the trigger even happens, so it's ready to reach for. So the full sequence now looks like this when trigger hits. I am not this thought, I am the one noticing it. This will not matter in 6 months. That is the whole exercise. Simple. Now, let us come to stage 3, Nirvikalpa. Here's the honest thing to say about this stage: there is no exercise for it. Yes, there is no exercise for it. This stage isn't something you do, it's what happens on its own after enough honest repetitions of stage 1 and 2. The same kind of trigger that used to hijack you for hours will now show up, and you will notice a mastery over your reactions to it. You did not fight it off in that moment because there was nothing left to fight. And here is your only job with stage 3. Don't chase it. Don't check daily if it's arrived yet. That impatience actually gets in the way, blocks your goals. Just keep doing stage 1 and 2 honestly and watch for this marker, a trigger that arises noticeably softer than it used to, unforced, unprompted. That's how you know that it is actually happening. That's your entire inner world toolkit. Now, let's go to stage 2. We take the same we take the same 3-step arc and point it outward now. Inward was stage 1, outward is stage 2. Bahi, or external objects at the world around you. It could be people, things, situations you don't control. Just like Antaha, Bahi has the same 3 stages. But before the 3 stages, I want to give you one exercise that's specific to the outer world because it works a little differently than the inner one. It is the 5 elements exercise. Listen to me carefully. This is the 5 elements exercise, and it is genuinely one of the most practical tools in the entire system. So, the 5 elements are Asti, Bhati, Priyam, Rupa, and Nama. So, what are these elements, and why do we need to meditate upon them? Every object in the outer world, a car, a house, a person's success, anything at all, is made up of 5 layers. Let's use something simple to describe it. Look at any object near you right now. Let's say a cup. Asti means existence. The cup is, it exists. Bhati means it shines with our ego's borrowed consciousness. You are aware that it exists. Priyam means dearness. That means there is a subtle sense of lovingness or the opposite feeling towards the cup. Maybe it was a gift. Maybe it was a gift from a loved one who is no more. Now, Rupa means external form. The cup's specific shape, color, size, that all comes under Rupa. And Nama is name, the word cup, the label. So, what's the exercise? Look at any object or think of any external thing you find yourself comparing or reacting to, and mentally separate these 5 elements. Ask yourself which parts of this are actually permanent and which parts are just temporary decoration. Rupa and Nam, the form and the name change constantly. The cup could shatter tomorrow. The word cup is just a sound humans agreed on. But Asti, Bhati, and Priyam, existence, awareness, and dearness, they do not change. And my friend, those 3 elements that were used to describe the cup exist in you as well. Meaning, your name and external appearance can be changed in future, but your Asti, Bhati, and Priyam in someone's mind can't be changed. It's one and the same thing, appearing in different forms. Do this daily with any object for 60 seconds. A tree, a phone, a stranger walking by. Strip the form and name in your mind and simply rest in noticing the Asti, Bhati, and Priyam that's common in the object and you. This trains your mind to stop seeing separation everywhere by default. Now, if you remember, till now we have covered the 3 types of meditations for thoughts emerging within. Now, keep the 5 element exercise in mind and let's learn how to master your emotions against external triggers in the same 3 stages. Let's do it. Now, stage 1 is the Drishya Anuvidha, but of the outer version. See, sometimes you are fused with something outside you. Someone's success, someone's opinion of you, a success you don't have, and it defines how you feel right now, isn't it? The exercise here mirrors the inner one but pointed outward. So, what to do? The moment you notice comparison or reaction rising, say this sentence: This is form, and name. What's real in it is already in me. That's your Drishya Anuvidha catch for the outer world. Stage 2 is Shabda Anuvidha of the outer version. Strip the object. This is where the 5 element exercise gets put into real use on a real thing, not a neutral object. Now take a genuine comparison from your life. Remember the friend who bought the house or anything current for you. Sit with it deliberately. It pains, but sit with it. Walk through the 5 elements on purpose. Their house has Rupa and Nama, a specific form, a specific address, a label of ownership. Now strip those away mentally. What's underneath? Asti, Bhati, and Priyam. Existence, awareness, and dearness. See, those are not something that they have and you lack. It's already fully present in you right now and unconditionally. Repeat this exercise on the same trigger for a few days if needed. The first time, the sting will be bad and it will likely be there after the exercise. Maybe long after the exercise, but we have to do it. See, that's expected. Same as stage 2 in the inner world. You're not trying to make the feeling vanish on command. You're simply loosening its grip, one honest repetition at a time. Stage 3 is Nirvikalpa, outer version. The same rule as before. No exercise here, only a marker to watch for. One day, a similar comparison will arise. Someone else's win, someone else's milestone, and you'll notice you are genuinely happy for them. No internal script running underneath. The comparison simply doesn't load anymore. The anger is not coming anymore. The jealousy is not rising anymore. Don't force this. Keep doing the stripping exercise honestly on real triggers and let the stage arrive in its own time in a natural way. The way fruit ripens when the conditions are right, not when you will it to. The way a butterfly comes out of its cocoon naturally, not when you have to tear it. Catch the fusion, strip the object, and watch. Don't chase. That's your complete toolkit now. 3 inner exercises, 3 outer ones. 6 stages, 1 underlying object. Now, 6 exercises is a lot to hold in your head, isn't it? So let's simplify this to something that you can actually start tonight without needing to remember Sanskrit terms or which stage goes where. Let's simplify it even more. Here's a 5 to 10 minute daily structure. Nothing complicated. Sit quietly for a minute. Bring up one thought that's been bothering you today, small or large. Say your anchor phrase, whatever you choose, and hold it there. When your mind slips back to the story, gently bring it back. Do this for 2 to 3 minutes. That was inner repetition. This is outer repetition. Pick one object or one comparison from your day, real or natural. Walk through the 5 elements. Notice what form, name, or other characteristic features that they have, and rest for a moment in what's shared and what's permanent. 2 to 3 minutes is enough, and that's it. 2 repetitions, one inner, one outer, done once a day. Not 6 separate practices to juggle, just one small but honest sitting that touches both areas. Now, a few things worth remembering as you start. See, this is not about intensity. Nobody ripens a mango faster by squeezing it harder, isn't it? 5 focus minutes done daily will take you further than an hour done once and abandoned. Consistency is the entire mantra here. And don't measure your progress by whether stage 3 has arrived yet. That is the trap that makes most people quit. Stage 2, the anchor, the stripping, repeated honestly, is where the actual transformation is happening, quietly, beneath what you feel day to day. Stage 3 isn't something to achieve. It is something that you feel within. You notice in hindsight once it's already done. And if you're starting this practice today, tell me in the comments which one you're beginning with, the inner anchor or the outer stripping exercise. I read every comment and I'll be checking in on how it's going. See you in the next video. Om Kala Bhairava Namah.